Hey, dude.
Hey, man. Hey.
How are you? Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, it's a nice day.
Yeah.
It's a bit more people on the street already, but I'm still enjoying it. I see you have some new stuff in your flat.
Yeah, I'm putting some instruments there. I got all the string ones and the...
Sorry. Leaf, I told you I was having a conversation. Wait a second. But you can do this. You can do this later. So maybe.
You okay?
Sorry, man. Yeah. No, it's no, sometimes it's difficult, being in a house and the same person for 2 months, quarantined in. It brings out all the challenges of a relationship, of course.
Which, of course, I would kill for. You know that, right? Yeah. It's like, I would give the world for someone who would like sometimes make some noise and disturb me, or I don't know, like someone to cook with and not cook for yourself and just sit and watch some bullshit on Netflix and cuddle on the couch.
My God, look at you. You're so romantic all of a sudden. I thought there is no more romance in you. You don't believe in that anymore. Oh, that's over. If you want some romance, my friend, the first thing you have to do is erase all those apps on your phone, including Tinder. That's not going to get you there.
Yeah, maybe I wasn't the guy who was looking for romance. I was the guy who was running around with Tinder and all the other apps. You're right. Yeah. I mean, I was the guy who 20 years ago was like dreaming of it. I remember I went to France for my first girlfriend, this girl that I met, and I thought, it's going to be so lovely. I'm going to the country of love. And I go there, I arrive in this little apartment in the suburbs of Paris. And on the top floor, she's waiting for me. And I think, this is it. And it's two bodies and souls melting. But actually what was waiting for me there, my first love, listen to this. A girl who saw this guy come from Amsterdam. And from the first time that we touch, she touches my face and she touches my hands. And she touches between my legs. But actually everything that experience was, that in my mind I thought it was going to be amazing, it was just, that was it. There was no meeting the person, all of me, this skin that I have that just desires to be held. But it was my first experience, so I couldn't understand it. I couldn't feel what was happening. But after 2-3 days of just being with this person, with who I had sex but didn't actually feel, I went back to Amsterdam. And yeah, from that moment I was just running around, as you say, just looking for the next experience. But now it does feel different. I go outside, I see people who go on a date. What do they do now? They can't even hold hands. They're just standing like 1.5 meters apart. and they're having conversations. And they're just looking into each other's eyes. And then sometimes, when you see a couple like that, you see a bit further on, you see another couple, and they're the ones who are actually dating, and they're sitting next to each other. And sometimes they're just silent and they're putting their hands on each other. And then you feel, this is intimacy. So maybe I wasn't looking for love, or maybe I was, but it was just hiding under this sort of exterior that I built. But underneath, there was the guy looking for love. You know what I mean?
About 15 years ago, I went to Norway, and I was traveling around, and I ended up next to this beautiful waterfall. It's a place people stop by and admire the waterfall down the road. And I sat there, and it's full of these Norwegian people, these giants of men, blonde, blue eyes, and women, and I'm sitting there. And suddenly comes this guy, looks completely different, an old man, brown skin, big glasses, big brown eyes, and he's wearing this shirt. It says Oklahoma University. And then he sees me and he comes straight to me, probably the other guy with brown skin over there. So he goes, and he sits next to me, and then he says, "Hey, where are you from, son?" And I say, "Well, I'm from Israel." And when I say that, silence suddenly. And he looks at me, and I see that his eyes are like burning. And then he says, "Really?" And I says, "Yes, really." I said, "Where are you from?" And then he says, "Palestine." Okay, And then I tell him, sit, please. And he sits next to me on that bench, next to the waterfall and its beauty. And we have this conversation, it's like I defend myself or what my country have done, and he is attacking and telling me about how he was a refugee and all the pain that has been inflicted on his family, and I try to do my best to explain and tell about the pain of my family, and this conversation goes on and on like this, and then there's just this silence, and we look around, I remember, and we see all these Norwegian tall men and women taking pictures. And then he looks at me again, and he suddenly puts his hand on my hand. And it was really warm, I remember. At that moment, like there was no Israeli or Palestinian, there were just atoms. I guess, I know I can get emotional also, as you saw with Florentine. We always have this kind of arguments and stuff, but actually this time is really good for us. We were never more harmonious now. I guess when you really stick in with the difficulty, that's what this quarantine does. It makes you stick with it. You find out and discover what is under it. Love.
So guys, where did you actually meet?
Tinder.